The silence. Do you hear it? This is no ordinary silence. It's that moment when even the sound of your pain is silenced, where your breath is heavy, but your soul is waiting for something it cannot name. It's as if the world has stopped. More movement, more logic, plus disu. Allah dit. Stay still. And you feel that it's not just a break. It is a silent call, a sacred order, something that your reason does not understand, but that your heart recognizes. You ran, you screamed, you fought, and now, nothing more. You are there, kneeling in the invisible. The sky is closed, the doors are locked, and yet there is this strange feeling, as if something unusual was descending on you, but slowly, slowly, silently. And when the commandment of Allah comes, everything will be decided in an instant. Surah 1677. What if? And if that moment, when you have nothing more to do, was precisely the one where Allah is starting to do everything for you? And if your immobility was not a weakness, more the scene of divine intervention that you don't see yet? What if your pain was the gap through which the light enters? There are moments when the universe is silent, where the angels hold their breath, and where Allah, in His immensity, decide to act, not loudly, not violently, but with a majesty that no eye can capture. Then He says to you, stay still, it's over. But this finish is not a collapse. This is the end of the human struggle, and the beginning of the divine act. Close your eyes. Listen to this silence. It's not empty. It is a presence, a power that approaches. Something unusual is happening to you, and you can only stay there, motionless, to witness it. Human beings are programmed to move, to run, to solve, to look for doors, to dig tunnels. When he is afraid, he runs away. When he is in danger, he screams. When he suffers, he acts. But there is a moment in life when all actions become useless, a moment when panic achieves nothing, where every human attempt is swallowed up in helplessness. It was then that Allah said, do not be afraid. Stay still and see the salvation of Allah. Surah 26:62. Imagine, you are with Musa, alayhi salam, before you the sea, behind you the army, around you cries of panic, and you, between two impossibles. The man wants to escape, the man wants to fight. But Allah says, stop, don't move, I'll take action. And at this very moment, it's not your courage that saves you. This is not your strategy. It's not even your prayer. It is ton abandon, your inner silence. Ton tawakkul pur. Immobility in faith is not inaction. It is the act of withdrawing to let God do what you can no longer do. This is not a weakness. It is a heavenly order. It is a statement. Ya Abdi, you, shut up, I speak. You rest, I fight. You stop doubting, I decree. It is a sacred submission, not to the pain, but at the absolute sovereignty of Allah. How many times have we panicked, run, cried, begged, while Allah simply said, it's over, don't touch anything anymore, it's mine now. But our ego wants to control, our fear wants to stir, and Allah waits. Let's be quiet. Let us stop. That we, if it works. The sea won't part because you hit it hard enough. It will open when Allah decides it is time. And perhaps this divine decision depends on a single act, your immobility. This is not abandonment. It's confidence. The purest form of tawakkul. Because real tawakkul does not begin when you act. It starts when you stop acting and believe. Ask yourself now, what do you do? When Allah says to you, leave it to me, do you have the faith to step back, to not move, even when everything inside you screams to flee? Do you have the faith to believe that your stillness is more powerful than your action, because she authorizes Allah to intervene? Miracles don't happen when you're struggling. They are coming when you give up, when you let the Master of Heaven take back control of your land. And sometimes, it's only by stopping that you will see the sea opens. He is on his knees, in a room that's too empty, his gaze lost, his breath short. He no longer knows whether he prayed or cried. He doesn't know if it's day or night anymore. He no longer knows if he believes or if he is just pretending. There was nothing around him. Everything he had built collapsed. His efforts, his projects, his dignity, his relationship, his work, his body, or worse. Sa went. He begged, a long time. He knocked on doors. He called people. But everyone has disappeared. Even God seems silent. He looks at his trembling hands, hands that gave so much, and who today have nothing left to hold on to. He whispers, why? But even that word crashes to the ground like an echoless prayer, betrayed by those he loved, broken by an injustice he did not deserve, humiliated by an ordeal that he does not understand. He is there, on the edge of the abyss, and suddenly there are no more screams, no more tears, no more struggle, just silence. But not just anyone. A silence, which no longer scary. It's as if something deep in his soul had stopped wanting to control. As if, for the first time, he looked at the sky not to ask, but for to wait for. And in this almost unreal calm, something changes. He doesn't see it, he doesn't understand it, but he feels it. With difficulty certainly comes ease. Surah 94:6. He had read it 1,000 times. But today he saw her, not like a promise of tomorrow, but like an invisible presence, here, now, in this silence which envelops him. He still has no answers, but for the first time in a long time, the no longer needs answers, because this silence has become a refuge, this abyss, a sanctuary, and his pain, a language that God understands. What if, and if what you're experiencing today, this loss, this ruin, this emptiness, wasn't the end, but rather the point of arrival of an exceptional decree, the beginning of a scenario that you would never have dared to imagine. And if this silence you feel was not the absence of God, more, its proximity in a new form. Sometimes it's when everything falls apart that the sky descends. When everything leaves you, someone arrive. And that someone is the one who never really left you. You thought you were falling, but you were just being dropped off, placed in the right place, at the right time. For start all over again. There are moments in life where everything seems still on the surface, but in the invisible, something is moving. You don't see anything. You don't hear anything. More you feel that something unusual is approaching. Not a spectacular miracle, not a light from the sky, but one subtle alteration of the fabric of the world. A detail changes, an unexpected word, a delay that becomes protection, a closed door, the better to lead you towards a palace. Remember Yusuf, alayhi salam. He was not sent to the palace. He was thrown into a well. He was not brought to power. He was sold as a slave, accused, imprisoned. Forget. And yet, every betrayal, every night in prison was a step towards the throne. You see, this is not the story of a king. This is the story of a man that God prepared by means strange, painful, illogical. Allah's intervention is not like human help. She is slower, deeper, more confusing. What you think is a punishment is sometimes a sacred invitation, and what you think is a collapse is actually the hand of Allah which digs the earth to better plant your elevation there. The Prophet Muhammad said in a Qudsi hadith, "I am as my servant thinks I am." Bukhari, Muslim. So ask yourself this question. When everything becomes incomprehensible in your life, how do you think about Allah? Is He the one who abandons you, or the one who teaches you differently? Is He the one who takes away from you what you want, or He who prepares what you didn't even dare to dream? Allah overturns the laws of the world. When He wants to transform you, it interrupts time. He changes hearts. He redefines the rules. You thought the path was straight, but He brings you by detours. No to lose you, but for make you rarer. When something unusual comes into your life, a sudden breakup, an unknown person, an improbable meeting, an out-of-logic event, don't dismiss it too quickly, because sometimes Allah breaks the world's benchmarks. So you understand that He is in control, and you just have to observe her, not control, not guessing, just trust. The supernatural of Allah is not always spectacular. It is often silent, invisible, but decisive. It's the kind of change you only understand in hindsight. The kind of moment where you say one day, "If this hadn't happened, I wouldn't be who I became." And that day you will realize Allah surprised you. How to recognize when Allah acts in silence, when nothing seems to be moving outside, but that the invisible is active all around you. You don't see the decrees being imposed. You don't hear the angels descending, but there is signs, discrete indicators, like heavenly whispers in the depths of your daily life. First sign, you lose control, but you don't lose peace. The world around you is becoming unstable. Projects collapse. People are moving away. You no longer understand the meaning of things. But deep down, there is a strange peace. Not a joyful peace. A silent peace. Deep. A peace which does not come from you, but from Him. And He gives you light from Himself by which you may walk. Surah 57:28. Second sign, human doors close, but your heart opens. You knock on doors, none open. The usual solutions no longer work. People you thought were reliable become silent, but instead of turning off, you feel that your heart is turning towards the sky. You pray with a new intensity. You cry without even knowing why. You just want to stay with Allah. This is the sign that He is extracting you from the world to introduce you into its proximity. Third sign, strange repetitions. You open the Quran, and the same verses speak to you. You hear words in people's mouths, and they touch precisely your pain. You have dreams, which wake you up. You hear reminders that seem made just for you. These are not coincidences. These are divine winks. Allah sends you its light in forms that only awakened hearts can read. Fourth sign, you feel called without knowing where. An inner call. Something is attracting you, but you don't know what. You feel like you need to change. You feel that you have to leave, give up, move on. But nothing is clear yet. It's as if the soul recognized a path before the eyes can even see it. This strange, almost mystical feeling This is often the signal that your destiny is being rewritten. And you? What are you doing during this time? You cry. You doubt. You feel forgotten. You think you're wasting your life. More and so rightly, while you mourn your defeat. Is Allah repositioning every detail to give you back what is best? What if, just when you think everything is falling apart, is the sky already lifting you up? It's not because you don't see anything that nothing happens. Roots grow in silence. Miracles are born in the shadows, and the greatest destinies often start in moments the blurriest, the darkest, the strangest. There are times when you believe that it's all over. You are at your lowest. You no longer have a way out. You don't even have a prayer to say anymore. No more strength to ask. And it is at this precise moment, let the sky open. When humans reach the depths of Himself, Allah unfolds the height of His power. Remember this night. One night among many others. And yet, a night that contains more light than 1,000 months. Laylat al-Qadr, a night that redraws destinies. A night where Allah doesn't just change your future, it changes your being. He transforms your pain into elevation, your waiting an explosion of rahmah. All it takes is a B, and that is Surah 36:82. Remember the Prophet Muhammad in Ta'if, a day of humiliation, thrown out, mocked, stoned. His blood is flowing, his heart is broken. He raises his hands and he says, "O Allah, I do not complain about my enemies, but about my weakness before you." And barely this cry rises, that one celestial event never seen before is triggered. Isra wa Miraj, the journey of the night, from dust to the divine presence, from human humiliation to welcoming the Lord of the worlds. This is what Allah can do. He can make a banal moment an eternal turning point. He can make a defeat a royal birth. And you think that you are immobile, finished, frozen. But what you are experiencing is not an end. It's a divine incubator. You are in silence. More, in this silence, Allah is writing you a version of yourself that you didn't even imagine. You just wanted to get out of the tunnel. Allah wants to make you the light of the tunnel. You just wanted the pain to stop. Allah wants this pain makes you invincible. You just wanted shelter. Allah wants bring you into His proximity. He hasn't forgotten you. He hid you. He didn't let you down. He prepared you. And now, feel this moment when everything can change. This heartbeat, or your destiny could be turned around by a simple divine word. Be. And that's all it takes. A decree, a look, a heavenly order, and your whole life begins to shine. Yes, you who listen to these words, you who came across this video amidst the chaos of your life. This is no coincidence. This is never a coincidence. You didn't come here. You have been led, like a leaf pushed by an invisible wind, like a meeting that your soul has been waiting for forever. And now, here you are. At that time, the moment when Allah did, it's over. Stay still. Look what I'm going to do. You tried. You ran. You fought. You cried. You begged. And now, you have nothing left. No more ideas, more strength, even more desire, perhaps. But you have that, a heart still beating, an ounce of faith, even fragile. And that is enough for Allah. Close your eyes now. Yes, now. Breathe. Listen to the silence, not the silence of the void, not that of abandonment, but this sacred silence, the one which precedes the divine act, like the air that freezes before thunder, like the calm that settles before deliverance. You and it is. You are exactly where Allah wants you to be, not running, not fighting,